A very warm welcome back to GlobeTrotting. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. One airline across 2024 that has looked to expand quite significantly has been that of WestJet. The Canadian carrier finds itself in a bit of a challenging spot within the aviation industry, as it needs to navigate many complexities, spurred on as what can only be described as a very competitive market, which sees Air Canada having quite the stronghold. By no means is WestJet struggling like some of the airlines that have come and gone in just a matter of years in this same location, collapsing also following a general ability to compete and be sustainable. But WestJet still faces difficulties to commit to certain markets and wants to try its very best to be successful in the long term. Focusing more so on the western part of the country and offering domestic alongside international services, WestJet has certainly made a name for itself, but it wants that to continue. In 2024, the airline has expressed interest in acquiring new aircraft, seemingly every passing month, arguably something that is not typically seen at this rate, especially considering that the airline has also been able to make arrangements to take on these planes. To recap, the airline has secured around 10 MAX jets in recent months, which builds upon existing commitments from both the source and the leasing market. These new units, however, that have been secured in 2024 are strictly from the latter, that being lessors, and are seen as essential purchases for the airline, hoping to increase its fleet sooner rather than later. So why is all this happening, and why has there been such a sense of urgency? Well, the economic climate presents challenges even at the best of times. Running an airline is no easy feat. However, in the last few years, everything has been magnified tenfold when you consider the number of airlines that have either collapsed, been reintegrated into their mainline brand, or are teetering simply on the edge of survival and trying not to collapse. Following all these changes, only a few airlines have stood at the top, WestJet included, and trying to capture available market share following the collapses of various airlines. It's really been essential for them to advance, and equally this has been difficult. They've seen an opportunity in the leasing market to get aircraft in sooner to develop their network more urgently than ever before, and ensure that they are poised to meet available demand during seasonal periods rather than, say, falling further behind over time your direct competitors. It is certainly a risky move for WestJet, who faces a lot of competition and is investing heavily in new aircraft, but they believe it is to be the right one. Other considerations for the leasing agreement, and arguably one of the biggest away from competition and trying to pounce on collapsed airlines, comes in the form of aircraft deliveries from the source being unreliable. Now, if I'm focusing on the 737 MAX, this will be on Boeing, but it'd be wrong of me to just mention them. This is a global problem with every manufacturer. Now, some worse than others. If you take a look at the cultural situation at Boeing and the massive levels of oversight, this is obviously hampering their output even more so, but it stretches down to manpower, parts such as the cabin interior, and other essential factors that mean getting planes delivered on time has seemed like an uphill battle that has no end. And when you're an airline that is trying to plan for the future, if you're continuing to see these new aircraft delayed, it makes it very hard to continue competing with competitors, launching into certain markets, and more. WestJet has, in fact, cited its struggles pretty publicly in getting planes delivered on time from Boeing as a fundamental reason why they're looking towards the leasing market. The belief is that through lessors, they'll be able to secure aircraft sooner, say in the next year or so, and deploy them across their network with a tad more urgency, it must be said, to respond to various things we're seeing in the market. These supply chain issues are wreaking havoc at many airlines, and WestJet can be thankful at least that the leasing market remains an option for them, thanks to their strong relationships with so many lessors. Unfortunately, though, this can't be said for all airlines. Furthermore, you have to also remember that the leasing market nowadays is seeing considerable pressures as more and more airlines turn to it to try and solve their operational requirements. So WestJet wants to grow as a business and wants to continue moving towards next-gen and more efficient aircraft, but obviously there are some difficulties in acquiring these planes directly from the source in Boeing. So the leasing market presents a fantastic opportunity for them to grow into the future. Also, they know they need to remain highly competitive. They need to respond to evolving market trends and fend off competition, which is very, very complex in this country that they call home when you consider that the flag carrier has such a high level of market share. Thanks for watching, take care, be safe, and I'll see you back here in a couple of days for your latest industry analysis.
And we'll fly.